This is amazing. Everything that they're doing is clicking, man. Everything that they're doing is freaking me out, scaring me. I love the writing. I love the way they capture the feeling of fear, but not being able to resist the back rooms. They are doing an excellent job with this, man. And then right after that, movie peaked for me, man. Midway through, it hit a high that it could never recover from. For me, it comes to a halt. This movie hits one of these damn walls in the back rooms, man. I'll be live in Chicago Friday, June 19th, 10 p.m. show back at the Lincoln Lodge. And you can get your tickets by going to doubletoastedchicago.com or scanning that QR code right there. I'm in the back room right now. No, I'm at my cousin's place. I find all kind of weird stuff around here. I found, this is like being in the back rooms here. I found about 6 or 7 Afro picks that my cousin had. I found about 3 pipes. Not crack pipes, okay? No, this is London. You know, they were actual gentlemanly pipes. He smoked a pipe, apparently. I didn't know that. And then you find weird things like this. I didn't see this before. This is an open bag of, as you can see, not chips, but crisp. They call potato chips crisp over here. It's been open for a year. Don't judge me, y'all. I'm gonna be honest with you. I want to know how long a bag of British potato chips, crisp as they call them, would last. These things are not stale. And look at this. They're not stale. It's almost crazy. I can't wait for people to make fun of me on Reddit for eating year-old potato chips. There's no bugs, anything in there, which again should probably tell you something. Even bugs won't eat this shit, but I will. But yeah, they are just as good as they were. I imagine when you just open them. It's kind of amazing and it's frightening. This is why I don't eat this shit. One more, 2 more. Might as well just finish this. I ain't gonna lie, I probably will after we're done. I am in London. I'm about to catch a flight. It is 4 something in the morning, so I'm gonna do my best to get through this review of Backrooms, which it looks like I'm in right now at this damn PP yellow apartment that I'm in. My cousin's apartment. Long story. Don't worry about it. I'm doing this by myself because no one else saw it. I saw it here while I was in London. I think we're going to probably do a spoiler discussion when I get back because, as they say, there's a lot to unpack with this film. But for right now, you're just getting my review. And let's go ahead and jump into it. And I've been fascinated by the whole concept of the Backrooms for a while now. I just learned that it was a creepypasta. But I love this whole idea of a crack in reality that takes you to the ugliest office that you've ever seen. That is hell right there. If anybody's ever, and I've been in rooms like this before, I will explain that a little bit. So I was completely fascinated by this concept. I think it's great. The movie, I was really interested in what they're going to do with it. And happy to see that it starts out being very character focused. What you have here, you have Clark. And Clark is kind of, how you put it, man? Clark's a loser, man. Clark, I want you to look at this right here. Clark, he's a failed architect. And he's also divorced. And what he does right now is that he sells shitty furniture. Look at this. The furniture is so bad, it don't even look like it's from this time period. That furniture is so bad, it looks like it's from the 70s and 80s. This is the shit that you get at Goodwill for $5. The only thing worse than Clark's furniture are his commercials, where he dresses up like a black pirate with a fake bird on his shoulder and pretty much begs people to buy his bad furniture. People must be buying this shit out of pity because those commercials are awful, but very amusing for the movie. So Clark, he finds this portal or this dimension in the basement of his furniture store. And life becomes more exciting when he finds this space that seems to go on forever. And as you can see, has shittier furniture than he does. And it doesn't seem to make any physical sense. Seems to go on forever. The physics don't make sense. Things are upside down. They should be right side up. Spaces get smaller when they should be bigger. There's all kind of weird stuff happening there. And as I said, it seems to just go on and on and on. Now, what seems kind of weird at first soon turns into something that's fascinating for Clark. And he just cannot resist his need to explore. But he is a black man in a horror movie who doesn't turn back when he should. And of course, things go horribly wrong. Now, like I said, I've been fascinated with the lore of the Backrooms. Like I said, I learned that it was a creepy pasta, but I knew about the video game beforehand. Never played it. Let me see here. I knew about the video game. Never played it, but watched playthroughs. And I think it's just a great concept, man. And also, I like that the whole thing is based on one picture. This picture right here, which is a hobby town that just cleared out. Somebody took it, and somehow, I don't know how you do it, but people can make a horror movie out of anything. So, love the setup with the film. I think that with this film, it establishes very nicely the mystery of the Backrooms. And most importantly, it sets up mood. You know, I can tell you about that mood from experience. This was almost nostalgic for me. You know, I was a little kid in the 1970s. And any kid who grew up in the 1970s, maybe the early parts of the 1980s, they spent some form or another in the Backrooms themselves. Because for some reason, in the 70s, people thought that piss yellow was a great interior decorating decision. Piss yellow, mustard yellow, people thought that that was the grooviest thing back then, man. But it got worse because I had to sit in classrooms like that. Classrooms that looked just like this. When you went on errands with your mama, you went to office spaces that looked like this. You know, and it was only made worse by those fluorescent lights. So I admire and relate very much to the atmosphere that they put together. You know, I'm sure a lot of people have gone to therapy just because they had to go to places like this, sit in places like this to work, sit in classrooms like this. So I'm already enjoying the atmosphere. I'm already enjoying the mood. But I think the movie did a great job at capturing how creepy the emptiness is, man. You know, if you've seen the YouTube videos of this, then you know what I'm talking about. You know, you already have watched all these videos where they capture that. But it's a whole different thing when you look at it on your laptop and you look at it on the big screen. You know, when you look at it on the big screen, it doesn't capture just how big it is. It captures just how claustrophobic this empty space is. And it's very unique right here, man, because when you think of claustrophobia, you're thinking about small spaces. You're thinking about tight spaces. You know, you're thinking about I can't breathe because I'm trapped in a closet or something. But with this, there is a certain paranoia that goes with this, man. It is so big that when you look at something in the distance, you get this feeling that you're always being watched. There's always something behind a corner lurking. Always something peeping behind you from behind a corner, like, you know, tee and all that kind of stuff, man. You know, you don't know what's in there. This whole mystery of the unknown, I think, is captured very well with this, man. Also, it's really unique in that it's one of the few horror movies. Think about this. It's one of the few horror movies that's not only brightly lit most of the time, but it's lit with the ugliest lighting that you can find. Those fluorescent lights, making it all, again, this nasty green yellow hue right here. This color, this lighting, this is the reason you white balance the camera. To make a whole movie doing this, that's incredible, man. I like Chiwetel Ejiofor in this. It's a crazy looking ass. He spends the whole movie looking like he just woke up from a drinking the whole night before, which is good because he's not a likable character. From the first scene that you see him, at least I did, I looked at him and I said, man, shut the up. Because he's in therapy when it opens up. And listen, before this doctor even diagnoses him, we've all diagnosed him. You're a whiny bitch. All he does is complain about is him not being an architect, not reaching his goals in life, and always talking about his fat ass wife, who they show his wife. His wife is fine. So this dude normally would be somebody that would get on your nerves. But the fact that he's unlikable actually works for the film. You know, it explains his motivation for wanting to explore the back rooms. He's found something bigger than him. He's found something bigger in life that offsets his feeling that his life is a failure. So to take this concept and make it so character-based and connected to a character and their motivation for doing what they do at the back rooms, I think is an outstanding writing job. And also, he's an unlikable character that we relate to, because as much as we don't like him, we have something in common with him. And that's the need to explore this space, man. Curiosity. The back rooms are scary, but there's this need to still go in there and find out what it's about. There's this need to explore. You know, that's the reason why the creepypasta was so popular. That's the reason why the video games were so popular. Because you go against your fear because you just have this curiosity exploring the place. And it captures that completely. You know, if anybody's played the game, I think it captures that. If you've read the, creepypastas about this or seen, even looking at that picture, that I showed you, it's ugly. It's kind of creepy, but you want to go down that hallway. You want to see what's behind that corner. In other words, we'd all die if we were there. But again, that's what relates us to Clark. I really enjoyed this, man. I think they did a really great job with the writing for the setup. And it just keeps getting better, man, as it goes along. Midway through, everything amps up. He goes to get his employee, Kat, who is that chick from, if anybody's watched that show, Shrinking. Forget the actress's name. But he gets her boyfriend, and look, we're already watching him go in and explore. He's doing this for research, and we're looking at him, and we're yelling at the screen. I'm yelling at the screen. Okay, far enough. Even I don't want to go that far. Go back. But of course, things go badly. And there's this one scene where everyone's panicking. I'm freaking out. My heart is beating. Everything is going wrong. Mysterious things are happening. And it is really scary, man, what's happening to these people at that moment. And then there's something that is terrifyingly weird. I wish I could tell you. You probably know what it is if you've seen the movie. Terrifyingly weird that happens. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, this is amazing. Everything that they're doing is clicking, man. Everything that they're doing is freaking me out, scaring me. I love the writing. I love the way they capture the feeling of fear, but not being able to resist the back rooms. They are doing an excellent job with this, man. And then right after that, movie peaked for me, man. Midway through, it hit a high that it could never recover from. For me, it comes to a halt. This movie hits one of these damn walls in the back rooms, man. I know that the movie, and listen, I did that rare thing. Since the movie's out, you can't avoid it. I know that it's doing amazing with critics. I know that audiences are loving this. But, and listen, I'm not saying I hate this or anything of that nature at all. I'm actually still coming in and being complimentary of what this movie's doing because I still think that they're even getting through it to the end. There are a lot of things I could compliment this movie for, but it just never picked back up to where it hit that high for me in the middle, where I thought it was only going to get better from that point. And the reason why is because this becomes a character piece. And like I said, man, I told you, I admire that it focuses on character. I love the character of Clark. I think there's some depth to him. But it also causes, like, everything that I was telling you about, that aesthetic that was working before, you know, all the stuff that I told you that was working so well before that I was just gushing over, it starts to actually work against the movie. For me. I know, again, there's a lot of people out there who love this film, so I don't want to piss anybody off. You know, that whole thing of everything being so well lit, you know, I complimented this for being a horror movie that's so well lit. You know, after that midpoint, which was so unique earlier, this whole thing with the lighting, now it makes certain things look silly. You start to run into creatures. I'll just say, I don't want to spoil anything again for people who haven't seen it, but there's no other way to describe it. You run into creatures, beings, things, and being that they're so brightly lit, they look rubbery. Great designs, a lot of imagination went into it. Creepy if I was looking at it on paper, but being so brightly lit, it just looked completely fake to me, man. And I wish it. I don't know. I didn't want them to. I didn't want them to stay darkly lit. I don't want to keep them in the shadows. I understand they had to bring them into the light, but I don't know, man. There are certain things that I could say could make it better, but then I'd be spoiling. But at the moment, the way that those creatures are made and putting them in bright fluorescent lights, they just they yeah, they look kind of fake. Somebody said that was the point, and I'll get to that point in a little bit of what you're talking about. Um, but like I said, great designs. However, what was not a great design for me was, how should I put this? The main antagonist. So somebody said that was the point to make those other things look fake. I got that. But, and I still thought they were a creepy design. When this main creature popped up, what was supposed to be horrifying, I laughed my ass off. Now, I'm not the easiest person to scare, and I'm not trying to nitpick here, but when I saw that, I had to cover my mouth because I was laughing so hard at this thing. And I know people, I've already seen people making memes of this. This thing is already becoming popular online. So obviously it worked for a lot of people out there. Again, not trying to upset those people that did like it, but it looked goofy as hell to me. And you know what I'm talking about if you saw the movie. That thing looks so ridiculous to me. It looks so fake. It looked like something that you see at a Mardi Gras parade. And really with these creatures, man, and this main thing right here, it looked to me like somebody cut the lights on, all the lights on, the fluorescent lights on at a spook house. And you got to see how bad everybody's mask was. Those other ones I can kind of forgive. Again, I see somebody's point of that was the point to make them look fake. But this other thing right here, man, I could not get scared. I was not freaked out. I was giggling the whole time. And I don't want to talk down on it because it worked for some people, but I wish it was something I could have been more intimidated by. Also, the momentum was gone, man. Things slow down a lot, I think, because with this, it becomes more of a character piece, and I appreciate that. It becomes more of a character piece for Clark, and in turn, but the thing is, it turns into a conversation. And that wouldn't be bad, but that conversation, they try to explain some things, and I think it just makes things more vague. Some things just don't make sense. Some things I was trying to actually, I mean, maybe they could, and this is why I want to do a spoiler talk with y'all, because I want to be able to like maybe have y'all float some ideas past me of what I'm not getting, what I missed. But I think I have some pretty fair points on things that just weren't consistent. And I wish I could tell you, man, but I can't. You know, the spoilers, we'll do it in our spoiler discussion. I did like oh crazy ass what's that name? Renate Rienzve plays his therapist. She plays Mary, who's Clark's therapist. Damn, she need one herself right there, man. Uh, I I like her. I like her performance. I like Mary's backstory, but I think that they did too many flashbacks with her. And I understand. I'm not saying that they weren't needed. They're there to explain Mary's own motivation of why she's doing what she does. And also, her flashbacks serve as memories, and memories play a big theme here. But I don't think we needed that many flashbacks. I didn't think it needed to be, and those flashbacks, I didn't think they needed to be that long. Making them that long kind of it disrupted the pacing of the movie for me, and it also felt very heavy-handed. Again, not saying that we didn't need her flashbacks. I think they could have done it some other kind of way, but again, I think it just kind of slowed things down, and that's for me. Y'all want to throw me into the back rooms right now because y'all are mad. I get it. I understand, man. A lot of people like this, and you're probably yelling at me saying there are things that I've missed. Understand? I'm not hating the movie, man. I'm not. I'm not. I think the first half of this movie was brilliant. I thought it was amazing. At first, I thought between this and Obsession, and I know probably one other thing, and this year already, I thought we're getting some incredible original horror, and I thought this was going to be right up there with all that. And that, as far as I'm concerned, that first half is Kane Parsons, Kane Parsons is not even 21 yet, right? He's what, 20 years old? He created the YouTube videos when he was a teenager. And I think he's very talented, man. He's 20 years old. I can't praise this guy enough for his talent. I mean, I'm envious of how talented he is right now. And I know that he wants to do more with the Backrooms. He wants to do movies, more movies explaining this. He wants to do an anthology, and I think that's going to help out a lot with some of the questions that I have. But I will say for right now, with this particular movie, what started out very creepy and what started out very original, just for me, got goofy halfway through. You know, I just it just, once they start to, the more they start to reveal, that creep factor just had a less impact on me. And I don't know, man. I don't know if if they were just showing too much, because that is part of what is great about the Backrooms is the mystery. Maybe trying to show too much and maybe putting everything under those bright lights and exposing stuff maybe just took that mystery away from me, and thus took the reason why I found this so appealing. I'm in full support of what they're going to do with more movies. I support this film. I still think it's way better than your average film with the typical jump scares, the same shit that we've seen over and over again. This is something that makes you think. So for those of you who kind of figured I was going to come in and give this like a rental, or maybe a high some old bullshit or something like that, no, you know what? I'm going to give this probably a lower end of a matinee, but I'm going to give it a matinee because normally what I would do, I would probably go for a high rental. But one of the things that I like about movies like this is that I am still thinking when I leave the theater. I'm still, those vague concepts, I don't just walk out and think like, oh, that was dumb, I didn't get it. No, I think like maybe I start thinking of theories. I start thinking maybe there's something I didn't understand there, or what could explain that. It's one of those movies where I think it's meant to make you think. Hell, I couldn't even sleep tonight. I was looking like damn Chiwetel Ejiofor right here, looking confused as thinking about this movie, man. I can't get it off my mind. Even the stuff that I couldn't make sense of, I am still thinking about. Shit, in an hour when I go catch my plane, I'm probably gonna have a beard and looking crazy like that. I really am. That's why I want to do a spoiler discussion, man. And to be honest with you, my rating might even get bigger, or bigger, might even get better. The bigger and better. And my rating for this might get better. The more I try to make sense out of things, the more things really come together for me. So, yeah, man, I think that this is something that will get better as they expand on it. That's actually one of the things I'm looking forward to. I really hope that they do an anthology series of this. Because with the Backrooms, the whole thing with it is, again, one of the things that I love about the concept is that any of these portals to the backroom could be anywhere. You could be driving a car and your ass just dips into a shitty looking office building. And you don't know why. I'd love to see people who are trapped there, who are trying to find a way to get out. I love to see different people's experiences, people who hate being there, people who actually love being there in the backrooms. There's a whole lot they could do with this. And I'm excited for them to do more than just movies with it. So that, I think that this movie for me is actually, it's probably more of a setup. That's what it feels like. It's more of a setup for a bigger story. And like I said, I think that whatever my complaints are, it will improve as they create more stories with this. So I don't know. I hope that I was fair with this. I hope that I did not seem like I was nitpicking. And if I am nitpicking, when we actually come in, and I want to do a discussion with you guys out there, let's talk about it. I don't even do that many spoiler reviews. But again, to this movie's credit, I want to talk about this. I want to sit down and talk about this like I'm in a therapy session. I want to talk about this like I'm at a Alcoholics Anonymous meeting or something. I want to share the ideas with you. That's how I think that's how thought-provoking this movie is. So there you go, y'all. Is it better than Obsession? Hell no. Who said that? No, for me, no. For some people, it might be. Obsession is still a better movie for me. It's a little more straightforward. But again, some people, I'm sure, will enjoy this more. And I don't blame them, man. It's a great concept. It really is. Let me just close with this. We always say that we're looking for something different. Or at least I'm always saying that. So I have to appreciate this movie for its originality. I have to appreciate the talent that went behind making this, even if I disagree with some of the decisions they made in the second half, and I might change my mind on that. So, yeah, there you go, folks. Don't hurt me. Don't. I hope we're still friends. I know a lot of you love this movie. I didn't mean to piss you off. I didn't mean to piss you off like those damn piss yellow walls right there. Well, would you look at that? You made it to the end of the video. That means you really like us. So just go ahead and press that like button and subscribe while you're at it, and check out our other channels, our social media like Instagram, TikTok, and our Patreon, where we have new stuff coming up all the time. And we'll see you on the next video.